Hello, hello, welcome. It is me, Danielle Carmelita, your favorite tarot reader and astrologer. Buckle up because the cosmos is wild this week, okay? We have Venus retrograding in Aries and it's bringing back some old flames, okay? We got money drama. We got conflicts on air, power struggles, because we also have that Mercury retrograding in Aries sitting close to Venus. They're like holding hands. So a lot of online feuds. Personally, you could be arguing with people, but it is what it is. But yeah, miscommunication. We got legal battles. That's that Venus retrograding in Aries. Aries also is a lot about athletes because Aries represents being first. So we have a lot of that, and we're going to discuss all those current events related to that. Also, a big one that happened within this week is Pisces energy. So we also have Neptune conjunct the sun in Pisces. And if you're not new here, you saw that I said that I want to sip my tea and see what happens because this is going to be secrets revealed. And illusions are being shattered here with this conjunction, and secrets are surfacing, and nothing is what it seems when you have that Neptune conjunct the sun. And we have, celebrity stuff. We have lawsuits. We have maybe Social Security with politics even being discussed. Yeah, all that. So we're going to break this down astrologically and see what we have going on. And yeah, you guys stay tuned. And yeah, let's get started.
3, 2, 1.
I love you.
On the agenda today, okay, we have Normani and DK Metcalf. Okay, they got engaged. We'll talk about that. We got Dwayne Wade and Gabriele Union, and they are discussing their finances. We have some athletes here, okay, and those were already athletes, okay. So we have some added athletes. We got the husband of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She was on one season. Her name is Anne Marie, and her husband, who's a NFL player, I think, was accused of raping two women. I said the word already. Two women while in college at Columbia University. We'll discuss that. An ex-NFL star, Ohio native Le'Veon Bell, was ordered to pay $25 million for a SA case. So we have that. Also, another athlete. We have the guy who was married to Teyana Taylor. I have his name written in my notes, but not in my agenda. They're divorce things. So we have those athletes dealing with that. And we'll discuss why the athletes are involved so heavily, even though I've discussed this several times, but this is just showing you how astrology is so dead on. Also, on this agenda, we're talking about Just a Mess and the Breakfast Club. Everyone's been talking about that. If you don't know who that is, we'll break that down. Also, there is South LA Crips, rolling 60s. The head leader, got arrested yesterday. JFK Files were released yesterday. In Vogue, singer Robison says she lives in her car. I'm pretty sure that happened yesterday. Also, we have Social Security may be cut. Are there some issues there by Doge? And there was a leaked memo. So we'll discuss all that. Everything here in this week's astrology is very simple because it's talking about two major transits in the sky. We are talking about Venus retrograding in Aries and Mercury retrograding in Aries. That's actually one part of the transit, and there's a lot of continuous themes happening with that. Now, also we have an Aries eclipse coming on March 29th. So some of that could be involved with that. We'll discuss that a little bit. The second big transit that is affecting and also too, I want to say, we're dealing with the retrogrades. That means if you want to know the predictions of anything that I'm talking about in regards to the retrogrades, there may be something repeated or redone or done over, and we'll finally know the truth when the planets are out of retrograde and it's even out of its post shadow phase. Okay, so that is with that. Now, the second transit is Neptune conjunct the sun in Pisces. This is not something that is really a prediction. This is really something that I've already discussed several times. And the Neptune in Pisces, that sun sitting next to that Neptune in the sign Pisces, is highlighting all these things. So this is what we are going to see. What did it highlight? What secrets got revealed? Yes. Okay. So that is what we have. Before we even get started, you guys, hello. Are you just sitting listening to this and not doing what you are supposed to be doing? If you're loving this deep astrological breakdown that we're going to have, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like that little thumbs up. That helps me out. Also turn on that bell, because the subscription, we already know. We know how YouTube works. If you're listening to this via podcast, download the episode. That helps me out so much. Also share the episode, because that really helps. These retrogrades and transits are just getting started, and we want to know the more tea. What tea is going to happen when it enters Pisces? You got more to discover here, and we got to break that down. Okay. There's more drama. There's more hidden truths. There's more power moves that are going to unfold, and you want to be a part of that party. So go ahead and hit the subscribe and download and follow. Do all your due diligence as a listener. Not only does it help you and you get something free out of it, but it helps me. Also, if you want to support me even more, I have a community. It's an exclusive community. And there's a lot of communities out there, but mine is special because I do my kitchen talk on that community, and I break down astrological charts of celebrities and politicians, and I give you the real honest truth. Okay. And it's biased and unbiased. I explain when it's biased, and I explain just the astrological breakdown, but it's more kitchen talk. When you are on certain platforms, you are limited what you say. That's Pluto and Aquarius. So the wall that I have in my community is freedom of speech. Okay. So we have that, and that's where I go beyond the headlines and I connect things to astrology. We talk about tarot. We talk about what's really going on in the world. And if you want to learn how to decode your chart, I also have an ebook for you that you can purchase, and you can break down and read your own natal chart if you're here for the psychological breakdowns of astrology, because that, I love that element too. I have that for you, and you can understand transits and all that a lot better. Something free that I have is I have a newsletter. You guys can sign up. You can get the weekly transits, and also it helps me stay in touch with you, because again, we can't trust these hoes. Okay. And meaning these social media platforms, and if you're listening to me podcast, because yeah, I might lose you guys, and I don't want to lose you guys. So this makes sure that I won't lose you guys. All right. Okay. So let's get started. I actually, sometimes I want to be creative and do the artwork for this, and she didn't do it. Okay. So we are going to first talk about the first story here, and look at this. We have Normani and DK. I don't know his name, Metcalf. Okay, they share their story. This is in Vogue. Normani is a pop singer, if you didn't know. She used to be part of, I was going to say Danity Kane. That is not true. She was part of another music group. Yeah, and they were put together. I forgot the name of the music group. It was a pop group. And and now she's engaged, and this is the athlete who proposed to her. Let me pull up my notes so I can tell you exactly what's going on here. Also, this athlete also had a big contract. Okay. Let me see if we have any other pictures. I don't think this is when he proposed. I think this is a setup for look at that ring. Okay. The ring is looking gorgeous. That is gorgeous. Okay, so here we have, he said, hold that rock up, baby. That's how DK Metcalf broke the news of his engagement to Normani the other day while speaking to the press after the announcement. He will be traded to the Seattle Seahawks to Pittsburgh Steelers in a 5-year, $150 million contract. Now, I don't know how that works in football, you guys. Does he get all the money from the jump? I don't know how that works. Anyway, this is a positive Venus retrograde story, okay? Normani, I looked at her chart. We don't have the time for her, but she has a Venus retrograding in Gemini. So Venus retrograding, if you have it on your chart, it works really good for you. That means when Venus is retrograding, you're not affected like everyone else. God bless your heart. You are shining. Okay. So she has a Venus already retrograding in Gemini, and Saturn, if she has a Saturn in Aries, that's more of like an age group. So her Saturn's in Aries, and Venus retrograding in Aries was sitting on top of her Saturn. So people with a Venus retrograde in their chart, they're feeling very comfortable whenever Venus is retrograding, and they actually benefit while Venus is retrograding. Normani was born with this. So a lot of things coming her way far as harmony, balance, relationships, because that's what Venus represents, the love, right? And it's sextile. Her Venus was actually sextile Venus retrograding in Aries. So you have this engagement, you have this fated connection, you have the possibility of the love and it being broadcasted everywhere, announcements, social media, interviews, all in love. All that is what you have, which makes sense with this Vogue interview, right? When you have all that happening. And also, too, Venus sitting on top of her Saturn. Now, Saturn is not just doom and gloom. Saturn is a planet of commitment and responsibility. And now you have that she is committed and she's going to be responsible with this athlete, because that Aries also represents that athlete, right? And then that Venus retrograding on top of that is the love and being very serious and having this responsibility in love. Okay. And the first time in love too is probably also what that Aries represents. Now I looked at DK, this guy's chart, DK's chart. I don't know how to say his last name, but that's going to be Normani's last name. I don't even know if Normani is her real name, but he also has that Saturn in Aries. His Saturn is also retrograding in Aries, just like Normani. He has the Saturn in Aries, but his is retrograding. So there is this energy of karma. So he could have good karma that came his way, and that Venus is sitting on top of that. Also, too, it's about independence, being ambition, and being like the authority figure, or being brave and being bold, right? Or maybe even doing something new and being responsible with the newness, and probably the first time being engaged. With the Sun, Venus retrograding, Mercury retrograding in Aries, his Saturn being activated, this brings major changes with being serious, commitment, responsibility, even decisions about his career, and having this burden, not a burden, having a weight of responsibility on him, and long-term stability as well. It's almost like all his hard work of using his physical body is now coming to light, right? And it makes so much sense for just a stereotype of a man when he gets his finances together, but like, now I can propose, now I can get married, now I can have these kids. Even listening to the story of how they met with Sierra and her husband actually set this up. So that was cool. Now his Venus is not retrograding. His Venus is actually in a sign Aquarius. However, 13 days before, 13 days after he was born, Venus started to retrograde. So it was very, very close to a retrograde. So this also is a positive thing for him. And this is why that Venus retrograding actually worked for him. And yeah, it's a strong connection. And also, too, it was sextile. His Venus in Aquarius is sextile Venus in that retrograding Aries. And also, too, that's love, new relationships. And go ahead and be bold and propose to your woman. Okay. Yeah. So that's how that works. He also has the $150 million contract, right? And that also happened under that Venus retrograde. And you're talking about on top of that Saturn, and Venus represents money. Okay. That Mercury retrograding also represents contracts too. Okay. So it brings revisions. I wonder if he had to make some adjustments with the contract. I don't know anything, but that is what that represents. But that Saturn being activated means he's stepping into a term of discipline and long-term finances and long-term commitment. Even like it being announced and all of these things being announced, very positive for him. I don't see any negativity with this. We shall see how this plays out. But from looking at his chart briefly and looking at her chart, it looks very positive, and that is amazing. Okay. So now let's talk about the next story here. We have Dwayne Wade is okay, not splitting bills 50-50 with Gabrielle Union. And yeah, this also was a story. Now I wonder, let me see if here we go. Here they are. Now Gabrielle Union says, you know what? I changed my mind. This is very Mercury retrograde. Okay. I want to undo what I said. Okay. Former model is Gabrielle Union, who's also an actress, is from a Google search is worth 40 million, and this is also added with his income. Them kind of working together to help her have this 40 million. And before she said, you know what, I want to go 50-50. I'm a woman in charge and I'm tough. I want to go 50-50. Well, she reneged. She said, never mind. I changed that. I'm on my soft girl era. And Dwayne Wade is worth $100 million. Why the hell would you go? I mean, only common sense. A 3-year-old. When do you start learning math? First grade? Kindergarten? A kindergartner could have told her, like, something ain't adding up right here, sis. Anyway, but that Venus retrograding in Aries and Mercury retrograding in Aries, that's going to make her have some reassessment on the power dynamic and balance here. Like, do I, I don't. You know what? I don't want to be an independent woman here. The finances need to change. It needs to be more harmonious to my peace. I need more internal balance. So we need to shift that split from everything being 50-50. And Dwayne says he was fine with it. Okay. You guys, I didn't even know he had an announcement that he had cancer, but he's fine. Yeah, anyway, but Venus retrograding Aries is redefining financial roles in relationships. Okay. Venus, remember, is about love. It's about finances. It's about partnerships. Aries is about me being independent and self-sufficient and personal power. And that retrograde is like, let's reevaluate that. Let's discuss the imbalances here of power, of money, of gender roles. Okay. And you know what? I want to change my old beliefs. I changed my traditional beliefs and we're going to redo things. That's what that retrograde represents. Aries is I can do it myself. And that Venus retrograde in Aries is like, never mind, I can't do it myself. You know what? I didn't actually want that. I actually want to redo what I said and reassess my independence. I actually want to have some financial security. You know what? I actually want to be in my soft girl era because that's what that Venus would represent. I actually want to be selfish and I want to bask in luxury and buy purses and go to the spa. That's what I want to do in my finances. I don't want to pay the bills. So yeah, you have that a very masculine and feminine roles being questioned here when you have that independence versus a partnership. All that is what you have, and that's what you have, what they've decided to change. Let's see. Oh, this is him discussing it. I don't know. Can you guys hear that? I don't know if you can hear it. Let me drink. Mm. He said she's in her soft era and she don't want to play no more. So he says he's down with it. So that is what we have. Okay. So next story here is, let's see. Is this it? No, that's not it. No, this isn't it too. Let me actually pull it up. The next story. Hold up, wait a minute. Let's put it here. Okay, so we have Marcellus Wiley, former NFL player and husband of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. This is a guy, he was married to this girl who was on the Housewives of Beverly Hills one time. But he's an ex-NFL player and he has some accusations to him. Former NFL player Marcellus has been accused of RAing two women at Columbia University when he was a student in 1994. The first allegation against Wiley, the husband of former Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star Anna Marie, came in 2023. The second woman filed the lawsuit in May 2025. Let me see what else it says. Wiley has denied the 2023 allegation and has not responded. Why hasn't he responded? When did this come out? On the 18th. Okay, anyway, but this is something that I want you to understand. I said that this is going to be big with the athletes. I told you this. Venus also represents law. It represents justice. It represents injustice as well. And the truth truth comes out with Venus sometimes because you are dealing with what is fair. Okay. So you do have the truth coming out. And when you have things retrograding, something from the past is going to come to your future. So we have that. He denied this as well. So you do have that. Now, also, too, we have another athlete. Actually, A lot of athletes coming on, child. A lot of athletes dealing with this. Here is the other athlete. Here we have ex-NFL star, Ohio native Levon Bell. He has to pay $25 million for a SA abuse. I want you to understand that I said that this Venus, just the Aries energy alone, whenever it's retrograding, any planet retrograding in Aries, we're going to have a lot of things with athletes. Now, within this year, Saturn is going to be in the sign Aries, so there will be some limitation with some athletes. Not some, we'll get some limitation, some restriction. Maybe government will get involved with athletes. You have that coming up as a prediction. And then Neptune is going to be in Aries, so some secrets, some fogginess, some disillusionment of athletes too, that will be coming up. And we'll see how that plays out, because the sun is going to be revealing things around that period. So we'll see how that goes out. Anyway, but currently Venus and Mercury retrograding in Aries is bringing out these court cases, is bringing out injustice, imbalance on things. Now, this is either could be a good for an athlete or bad an athlete. And you do have karma involved with this, because if you're not being fair, then it's going to show some justice here. Okay. Now, a Franklin County jury awarded a woman $36 million in damages after she accused former NFL player Levon Bell and his brother Levante Bell of SA. The woman of the relative. Let's see, what does he look like? Do we have a picture of him? This is him here. Okay. Let me see. The woman of relative of the Bells alleges that the abuse began when she was a child and continued into adulthood. Neither brother responded to the lawsuit. Oh, it's so sad. Okay, let's see. When did this come out, this story? This was around March 11th. Okay. I'm just not seeing it now, but this is all Venus retrograding in Aries. Okay. A lot of athletes being discussed and in the news and in stories. It's just inevitable. And that is what you get, something from your past. And this was something from the past, because this sounds like a childhood issue coming up, old accusations. Yeah. Also, too, Aries is very aggressive. So you do have this aggressiveness being discussed too. And yeah, and that being brought to the surface. Aries is going to be, Venus is also involved intimacy, and Aries is also involving intimacy and power dynamics and unethical behavior, men in powerful positions, and women having justice. Venus does represent women. Venus represents relationships. And that Aries is aggression there. So yeah, you do have that. Let me see. In Wiley's case, a second victim has come forward. If that is not another retrograde, just redoing and redoing. So that's another element added to it. And that Mercury retrograding part is going to, so Venus is bringing justice and law, and that Mercury is going to make it, everyone see it publicly. Okay. It uncovers hidden truths and brings the past back to focus. People are probably tweeting about it, and you see I'm discussing it. So here we are, and now the public's involved because it's on social media. So we have that, and another athlete we have here, and still not on. Another athlete we have is actually, let me type it in. It's Teyana Taylor. Teyana Taylor and her husband here. This is another story here, and here they are. Why do they have to? Why did it? I mean, the news, like, this is ghetto. Okay. Yes, but you have this couple here. If you don't know who she is, she's like a pop star. She was signed with Kanye West a long time ago. She does like fashion shows, she dances, she does a lot. And also, she was on My Sweet 16 years ago with Pharrell. And then you have Iman Shumpert, and he is an athlete, an ex-NFL player. And then their divorce leaked. The information about their divorce was leaked. And yesterday, Teyana Taylor came out and was like, she went on live yesterday and said, we're not having that. We are not having that. Let me see here. This is her here. She's discussing it. And we'll let that play while I basically tell you. So they basically had a divorce, and she had the papers being sealed. She had the papers being sealed, meaning that this is like no one's going to know what the divorce is talking about. And apparently only him and her supposedly only knew what was in this divorce proceedings. So she says if it got leaked by him, because she's saying she didn't leak it. And basically it went in detail on what she received and what he received. And it made it look like she received a lot and he didn't receive a lot. And in this video that I'm playing here, that's not playing audio, she's saying like everything I received is what I bought, and everything he received is what he bought. And basically she's saying that she just has a lot of money, she can't help it. Anyway, but this leak came out, and she's saying it's very fishy because of him. Now, I think this is also connected to an eclipse that is going to happen March 29th. The eclipse is going to be in the sign Aries. It's opposing Libra. Libra is relationships, and now we are single. And Teyana Taylor public call out for Iman Shepherd regarding leaked divorce information and false narratives aligns perfectly too with the Venus retrograding in Aries and Mercury retrograding in Aries and the solar eclipse in Aries. Okay, you're talking about relationship conflicts, hidden agendas. You're talking about her reputation and her public image, her aesthetics of how she comes across, because that's what she cares about. You're talking about finances and public perceptions. All that is involved in this. Venus does again rule love, partnerships, and money. And that Aries is being self-assertive. I'm independent. I have personal power. Retrograde in Aries, unresolved relationships, okay? Tensions in the public eye. That is what all that is bringing. So the old relationship, because they've already been divorced, this is not new. But why are you bringing up the finances? That's that Venus retrograding in Aries. Mercury retrograding in Aries is her just coming spontaneously on live to argue, because that Aries does represent conflict, to argue the false narratives that are being pushed. She's basically saying that every time she goes public, so like she releases a project that she does, there's some leaked information and she thinks it's from him or his people. Iman leaking divorce details aligns with that Venus retrograde if he did do it, because he is not happy that he is single. And the finances have already been done, but looking at them and everyone discussing it and rediscussing it, even though it's been closed off to them, that is that retrograde. Now, the reason why I'm saying the eclipse, because I think that an eclipse really forces someone to shut down and close off, right? And I think that him leaking this and the eclipse in Aries makes someone says, finally, this is it. And this is the last eclipse in that Aries and Libra. And Aries and Libra means a lot of people got divorced and now are separated, and they're permanently separated. And that is this last eclipse is closing that energy out. And she says, why don't you come out publicly and do your own thing without being attached to me, and I come out publicly and do my own thing without being attached to you? Okay. Yes, but the accusations of like rumors and who got what or who leaked what, that's that Mercury retrograding too. Statements being misrepresented, or people being misquoted, or things getting twisted, or public call outs, because I don't have the fear. All that is happening now. This eclipse alone, right? It's about breakups, and now I'm single. Now I'm brave to be on my own. Venus in Pisces is happening while this eclipse is going to happen on the 29th. And that also represents things that are done in the secret, and the secrets were revealed. Now, Pisces also represents the ending of a relationships. Now it's a conjunct the North Node, this eclipse coming up on the 29th. And this could be affecting a lot of people, not just Teyana Taylor. And I didn't look up her chart. This is me just knowing because I know astrology. But this North Node in Aries, Pisces means like adding on now this ending here, adding on this energy of lacking too, because there could be like an insecurity, but you're supposed to like gain some intuition and gain some compassion, and hopefully that's happening here, or just gain an ending of something, of closing something out. Yeah, and Aries energy demands personal freedom. So you have that with this eclipse, and eclipses are very unpredictable too. So even if he didn't leak it or someone else leaked it, there could be some unpredicted things happening here, and it may continue with this. Let's see. Yeah, but she's being very assertive about her public image, and she even like closed it out by saying something sexual, because she's even in a new relationship too. So she's really trying to close out her relationship. Yeah, and that all these retrogrades are making conflicts public, and a lot of things on social media, and they're very fast. Like they are not even thinking before they say, you know what, I'm going live and I'm going to confront this motherfucker. That is basically all that is what you get. Okay. Yeah. So that is what you have. Let me, before we get into the next stories, because the next ones we're just going to basically talk about the Venus retrograding in Aries, and not in particular to an athlete. We're finally moving on from the athletes, but all that Venus retrograding in Aries and Mercury retrograding in Aries is all about just the athletes alone, you guys. So we'll continue to see some more athletes as long as Venus is retrograding in Aries. When Venus retrogrades in Pisces and Mercury retrogrades in Pisces, because that's going to happen, then you're talking about secrets being revealed, fears, things of unknown, okay, conspiracy theories, all that. That's a whole different page. But right now we're dealing with athletes, okay, and we're dealing with conflict. But let's go to a commercial. Let me go to a sponsor, and then we'll get to the rest of the stories.
Hello there, my beautiful souls. I am Danielle Carmelita, your favorite tarot reader and astrologer. Are you ready to take your spiritual journey to the next level? Introducing Danielle's Astro Tarot Elite Club, your exclusive getaway to daily insights, cosmic guidance, and so much more for just $4.99 a month. As a member, you'll receive daily readings designed to align your day with the universe's energy. Start each day with clarity and confidence. Do you need a personal reading, or do you want to have your astrology chart read fully? With being a member, you also can enjoy exclusive discounts on all my offerings, just for our elite members only. All for just...
Okay, you guys, I cut my commercial because I am ready. Okay, so the next thing on the agenda is we have the Breakfast Club. If you don't know about Jess Hilarious, right? And she went on Instagram. If you don't know who this is a comedian and radio personality. She was an Instagrammer who became really popular, and she's on this radio show with Charlemagne the God. He's the most popular one on there. And then there's another guy named DJ Envy. They have a show called The Breakfast Club. It's very popular, especially if you love hip hop and rap, maybe even R&B, but very popular within the Black culture, right? So they have this talk show, and it's a breakfast. Wendy Williams is also connected with Charlemagne the God. So they've been in this for a long time when Wendy Williams was on the radio. Angela Yee used to be the female host involved with this. She's no longer a part of it. And so then they hired, what's his name? Whatever. They hired her. I'm trying to see what this is on the bottom of my screen. Okay. Anyway, they hired, what's her name? Jess Hilarious. This is her here. And they hired her, and she's like, great. She got pregnant. All right. And when she got pregnant, then they were like, oh my gosh, we need to replace her. We need to have someone else. She actually picked someone else to replace her. Okay. And not replace her permanently, but just while she was on maternity leave. And so then she's on maternity leave, and she's thinking everything's all good in the hood. And it turns out that this girl is actually, to me, better than her. Her name is Lauren Larissa. I'm going to actually type in, hold on, Lauren, let me make sure. Larissa. Okay, I'm hoping this is her. Yeah, this is her. Yeah, look at her. I think, I really like her. She has a blog called Brown Girl Grinding, and she used to work for TMZ. I really, really like her. When she was on this radio show, I was like, finally, because I really did not like Jess, is it just a mess? Jess Hilarious. I don't know why I want to say just a mess, but I didn't really like her. She was okay. So her whole point is to bring the gossip news. So anything dealing with celebrity gossip, she was supposed to bring the tea, and that was her segment. And that was Angela Yee's segment. For some reason, she went on live, Jess, the one who is pregnant and went on maternity leave. And she went saying, I created this segment. I started this segment. I fought for this segment. And now they're taking away from me, which is justifiable. Like that makes, for her to get mad about that, understandable, because she said that no one is communicating to her. Meanwhile, while she's on maternity leave, this girl named Lauren, who I really enjoy, okay, she comes in with her experience. She majored in broadcasting or journalism. She worked for TMZ for a long time. She has connections. She's able to spill the tea. This is what she's meant to do, okay? She is not an Instagrammer. She's not a comedian. She is here to spread the news. She is a micro mini Wendy Williams, okay? Anyway, so what happened was during Venus retrograde and Mercury retrograde, Jess was like, I ain't got no time for this no more. So she goes on live and she goes off and she basically spills the tea. She comes back the next day on the radio show. Of course, they use this for their benefit, and they're like, well, we have to address this publicly for everyone to watch. We have to be in control of our narrative. So they address it. I still personally, this is my personal belief, feel like Jess is not professional. Okay. I find that she may not have the experience of working in a corporate job. Business is business. A business is here to make money. It is nothing personal to you. I know we think that businesses are charity cases, but they're not. So if the numbers are showing higher support for another person, guess what? Most likely you're going to lose your job because the business is in it for making money. It is nothing personal to you. It just means that this is not her gifting. She wasn't meant to be here. Okay. This has nothing to do with astrology. This is just my experience in life. Okay. When you are working for a corporation, you cannot take things personal. Now they were, I guess, being nice because they weren't communicating to her. And she kept saying, why aren't you telling me? Why aren't you telling me? Now we got this Mercury retrograde in in Aries, and Venus retrograding in Aries. So now we have this. And when you have all those things, let me see, where's back to my story, then you got conflict, right? And now that you have conflict, Venus retrograding in Aries, this makes her spontaneously, with braveness, with the quickness, without thinking, go on and be bold and go on live and say everything. And then the next day they the confrontation is online. Okay. But you could be feeling like, Venus represents your self-worth. It's the planet of self-worth, of what you value. And now it's retrograding. So you feel like you are not valued, you're overlooked. Also, it could be dealing with some ego issue, some egos, because you are conflicting and there's war. You're not being respected. That Aries is like, you gonna respect me, okay? Also, too, Venus represents women. And you got two women arguing against each other, and maybe the girl is not really arguing. Also, too, it was even showing old clips, which very retrogrades. That's what they do. They bring back the old receipts of the Jess girl telling the other girl to shut up and be quiet several times while they're on air, because they've decided to bring them both back, and now they're saying that they're fighting for airtime. But yeah, just drama in professional work life. You get that with the Venus retrograding. You get that with Mercury retrograding. Also, Mercury is about radio. Okay, Mercury is about communication across the board. So you're going to have that. Also, Mercury represents contracts and agreements, and also reevaluating that in the sign Aries of me and my personal, how I am, the individual. It's about me. It's not about the group. All that is in this. Okay. So yeah. And being messy behind the scenes, that is involving that, and being impulsive with the call outs, that's involving that, insulting others, arguing with others, all that is involving that, and being aggressive is also Aries energy. So yeah, you have all that. Now, what's going to come to this? Is she going to keep her job? Honestly, if I was the boss, I would say no. First of all, she's not as liked as the other girl. The other girl is bringing way more tea. The other girl has a great what's this called when you work well with somebody? I can't think of it. Great chemistry with the other two guys, really well. And she's very professional. She does not talk disrespectful to Jess Hilarious. Also, Jess Hilarious is like, well, why don't you just confront me online on air? And that's not the way she does things. The other girl is she just knows how to work corporate. I'm not saying that one person is better than the other. I'm saying that one person is in their gifting and the other person is not in their gifting. I think that Jess Hilarious is not meant to be in this area. She's not meant to be in a radio show or this radio show. She should probably be doing a podcast and it should be on her own. She's in a different gifting. Okay. That's basically what I'm saying. Anyway. But yes, along what's gonna happen. Venus and Mercury retrograding here alone, because that is what is causing this conflict. This could be part of the eclipse too, but I'm thinking it's more the retrograde planets. And I think that when they stop retrograding and they go in Pisces, there may be some endings of happening. So we'll see how that goes. But when they come back in Aries, because this was back in secret and there may be a contract signed, redoing the contract and ending things. There could be that possibility. This is me not looking at Jess's chart and coming back in Aries when it's not retrograding. We'll see some closing out on this. Okay. And Venus stops retrograding. I always have to bring this out because I have it on here. Hold on. Venus. Okay. Mercury stops retrograding. April 25th is when we're clearly out of it. And let me see. Where's my Venus retrograding chart? Oh, here we go. Venus has been retrograding. Look, you guys, it's been retrograding. We've been dealing with Venus since January. But May 15th is when we will fully be out of this. So all this could be happening all the way until May. We shall see how that plays out. Okay, another Venus retrograde energy is we have another thing that I don't have in the chart. Hold on. Let me pull it up. Okay, so now we're dealing with this energy. Okay, we got the alleged South LA Crips leader, music exec, accused of mafia-like crimes. Okay, his name is Big U. If you are from LA, if you haven't heard the story, well, welcome. I'm going to speak to you from the streets. I'm actually not talking from the streets. I actually had to ask my friend. First of all, my husband came in last night, was like, did you hear? And I was like, I've been waiting. Because I'm waiting on this Sun conjunct Pisces to bring out all the tea. Oh, if you didn't know, now we're in the second part. Now we are talking about Sun conjunct Pisces, Sun conjunct Neptune in the sign Pisces. This is what I've been waiting on to see. What is the tea, y'all? Okay, the sun is highlighting the secrets, the conspiracy theories, the things that we're not supposed to know. That is what that brought yesterday. So I was waiting for all the tea. I was sipping my tea, literally sipping my tea. I think I was drinking my matcha. Okay. And my husband brought me this. Okay. I didn't know anything about this, but this is the Rolling 60s. And let me see what his name is. Big U, Eugene Henley. He is 58 years old and he is a Crip. When a Crip, how unattractive for a 50-year-old to be a gang member. Oh my gosh. Anyway, he was charged with conspiracy to violate the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations RICO Act. The Department of Justice said he ran a criminal enterprise that committed a series of racketeering crimes, including extortion, human trafficking. Now, human trafficking, is that prostitution? Because that cannot be. I'm hoping that's not involving kids, because then it would say something with kids, right? So human trafficking. Is human trafficking dealing with drugs or selling prostitution? Anyway, fraud and 2021 murder of an aspiring rap artist. Okay, we're going to get more into this. Okay, two other alleged members of the organization, Robison, 59, they are too old. His name, aka they of Northridge, and Mark Martin, 50, aka Bear Claw, okay, of the Beverlywood area. They didn't even live in the hood. They lived in a Beverlywood area. Is Beverlywood? Beverlywood is by Beverly Hills. Am I correct? They were arrested Wednesday on the same criminal complaint in which Henley was charged. Robinson and Martin were expected to make their initial appearances Wednesday afternoon. Okay, so here's the article. Okay, you guys can read it. This is the article, but let me just tell you what I have far as the, oh, look at this, rolling Crips. Can you guys, I don't know if you guys can hear this. Oh, he went to social media before he turned himself in. Why do they do that? That's that Mercury retrograde in the Aries, by the way. Okay. Now, I'll actually keep playing this. And what I'll tell you what my friend told me, okay? First of all, in the hood, he is known as a big bully. This head guy, Big U, okay? And they've been watching him for 4 years. The FBI, the CIA, whoever's investigating him, they've been watching him for 4 years. He used to work with Suge Knight. He did some shady stuff to Jay-Z and I think P. Diddy. Very LA, high up kind of guy, right? He was a huge shot caller in the 80s. He went to jail already for 13 years and he got out and, you know, he'll probably go in jail for life. 12 people were arrested, which is so funny. 12 is like a Pisces number. Anyway, 12 additional people were arrested. They believe, the hood, the people in the streets believe that this is the true killer of Nipsey Hussle. Okay, this is what they believe. Okay, because Nipsey Hussle is from the gang 60s. He became big. Maybe he didn't agree with something that Big U or this guy said, but they believe he was the killer because he didn't even attend Nipsey Hussle's funeral. Okay, that's huge for you not to attend that. Also, one of the reasons that he was arrested yesterday was also because they said allegedly that he also killed this young boy who went to Crenshaw High School. I think he was a football player. And there was this guy's Big U's DNA was on his body. And this boy who went to Crenshaw, who was a football player, was his best friend's son. And he died, but they think that Big U killed him. I mean, this is intense. Guys who went, also too, there was a group of gang members who actually went on a podcast the day before. They went on Jump Gunning or Jumpman Gunning or Adam 22 or 23 is in charge of this podcast. He's the devil. Anyway, they went on his podcast and they just spilled all the tea. And you know, some people are saying that they are connected with the FBI. Even this guy is connected with the FBI, and that's very Pisces energy too. Anyway, but they went on a podcast, and that is very Mercury retrograding in Aries. Okay, so let's get into first of all, the Venus in Aries, Mercury in Aries, all that is him going on social media, them going on social media. A gang, Venus represents a gang, and Aries represents guns. And, you know, what do you think of when you think of guns? Gang members. Okay, so you have all that. So all that is involved with this. But this Cazimi, this Neptune conjunct the sun in Pisces, is where you get the unveiling of hidden truths. Okay, the illusions of this South Central LA Crip leader, even with music too, you get that involved too, because that's that Pisces energy. It also represents music. So you got illusions of power and protections. All that is dissolving. You thought you had a protection and you don't. This untouchable aura that he thought he had was broken down. It's no longer there. The secret's out. Connections between crime, business, entertainment, all becoming more clear, right? Because you're a music exec, you're dealing with rappers, but yet you're controlling. This is all this interplay of power, crime, and the culture. You know, Pisces is a very strong energy of creativity and music. A lot of singers have strong Pisces energy, and then there's a controlling element added to it. Some other things that's more Jeffrey Epstein talk, but this one seems more like controlling kind of energy. But yeah, but that Cazimi and that Mercury retrograde in Aries is the reason why he went and got on social media and said whatever he said spontaneously before he turned himself in. And then also too, you have the secrets being revealed. What did they say in a podcast? Okay, so from what I heard from my friend is that these gang members went on a podcast. They said some things they shouldn't have said, which you always see them saying things on social media because they're not that smart. You always have them saying things because they're not that smart. A lot of gang members go on social media. A lot of go. Look, they also did COVID fraud too. I mean, but you can find that all in the hood. I'm trying to see if there's any other pictures. Yeah. I just think it's funny. I find it funny. It's not funny if someone passed away who you know, but let me see what else we have here. Yeah, so first of all, the podcast, they said some things and they said things that they shouldn't have said. And apparently these people, these gang members who are also in the 60s, they got arrested, but they didn't go to court. So everyone thinks that they were the ones who told who snitched. Okay. So there are some connections there with the FBI or whatever, or CIA, whatever, FBI. Neptune governs false perceptions, things that you think is happening and it's not happening. Mercury retrograde in area in Aries is also past dealings. Things are dealing with the past and now it's coming out. Very spontaneous. And you have that with that podcast. Very interesting that gang members would go on a podcast. Where is the discernment? Because also too, gang members also post stuff on social media and Instagram. Where is the discernment? I mean, I don't know how old they were, but if they were 50, where is the wisdom? The wisdom did not come. Okay. But that is what you have with that. I was waiting for some tea. Some next tea that we have, which was bigger tea in a bigger world. We had the JFK experts, well, not the experts, but the JFK files were revealed. They were released yesterday. This is also dealing with the Neptune and the Sun conjunct. The Sun is highlighting the secrets, the corruptions, conspiracy, fears, endings, death. All that is what you get with this energy. Okay. The release of the final batch of the JFK assassination documents. They're sensitive. Personal data was released also too, which I think that is a retrograde, Mercury retrograde thing too. Hidden truths coming to the light, deceptions, misinformation, legal and political backlash. Okay. Neptune is the planet again of secrets, illusions, espionage. I can't say espionage. Okay. Hidden agendas and cover-ups. Okay. Now, remember, the Sun is shining a light on all those things. So that is why we have the JFK files being released. There may be some other things. Maybe it's for us to look over there to be distracted and like, ooh, look over there when there's something else over there. That could be a possibility too. But there is the blurriness and fogginess is also there. But now the Sun is taking away the fog. It's taking away the mess. And so now we have clarity. I want you to understand that this has been released while Mercury is retrograding. And I'm just going to say more Mercury, maybe even Venus could be dealing with this. So there may be some redoing, some undoing, some lies. There could be something else being repeated and we shall see. And I think it's going to happen when Mercury goes back into Pisces because Pisces is dealing with this Neptune energy that we've been dealing with. Neptune is going to move into Aries. So there is that as well. We'll get into that. I don't want to get you guys all confused, but I'm sticking to this. But Mercury retrograding in Aries could be communication backlash and misinformation. Also some legal consequences because Venus is retrograding in Aries. Okay, so Venus is the legal part. They released the files and they didn't take anything out. They didn't redact anything. And people's social security is on these files. Let me see. I'm not going to put their social security out, but I'm just going to show you. I think these are the files. I think. Let me see. I'm not good at researching the tea, y'all. I'm not good at it, but let me show you. I'm thinking this is it. And they like took all the blackness out. And so now you can see it all and read every single thing. I am not the one to read all this, but people are going to research it and read it all. And we'll see. It's supposed to be like, I don't know how many pages, like 800. Let's see. Whatever. You get the judge. The judge is that it's out. Prepare TikTok. It's probably already out. I don't have TikTok, but I'm excited to see who read everything, who's going to find the tea. I might sign back up for Instagram just so I can know because there's this guy on Instagram who breaks down all this stuff. I need to see it. He needs to get a YouTube channel. Okay. I need longer content. Anyway, but I didn't break down the chart. I mean, not the chart. I didn't break down the releasing of this because that's not my gifting. My gifting is astrology. But I do know that we'll get some more. Some more information is going to come out. Why? Because Mercury is going to retrograde in Venus. In Venus, in Pisces, and that's more conspiracy theories. Okay, so we're going to get more. But I do think there'll be some legal things happening here because this thing released. Let me see. It released personal information. People's like phone numbers. I think are maybe not their phone numbers, but their social security numbers or stuff. Details were released. Okay. Let me see. Legal battles over personal things. I'm trying to see. I had it written. This guy named Joseph Da Vinci or whatever. His personal information is on there. He still is like living. Yeah, I just thought that was so funny. Anyway, but they could have redacted that. They didn't have to put people's like social security numbers on there. Okay, anyway, but let me see what else I have on okay. So Venus and Mercury, back to astrology. Why is this involved in this? First of all, it was a lot. It came fast, right? It's talking about deaths, which is dealing more that Neptune energy and Pisces, but you also have this element of the planets retrograding. So something wasn't fair. And now we can see, is the government fair? Was there justice? What is the truth? Let's see what these documentations have to say. A lot of Mercury retrograding in Aries, so a lot of people are impatient. They don't want to read 800 files. So we need someone who's dealing with more patience energy to hone it down. And I do know it will come out eventually, maybe just not as fast, or maybe it did come out fast because that's what they're doing. But this is going to cause a lot of mistrust with that Venus retrograding. A lot of mistrust. A lot of people are like, you know what? This is unfair. There's no justice. And what is the justice of, because I heard on a podcast this morning that there was enough evidence from these files to say that to know who the higher power was, who they are considering a higher power. We will discuss that in the community, not here, okay? But yes, I do want you to know that this was the second part of the T of the Neptune in conjunct Saturn of us getting some more information, okay? Now, this is interesting. This is just a quick side bit. We have that the In Vogue singer, her name is Dawn Robison, says she's been living in a car for 3 years. She just came out with this. This is really sad. This is the group In Vogue, giving them something he can feel. Okay, sorry. Talk to him. When you hear In Vogue sing, you feel like you can sing. Okay, is that just me? And I tried to wear my In Vogue hair with the white. I should have worn the white gloves. Anyway, this is her. She was actually my favorite one. Yeah, and she joined the group Lucy Pearl, and now she's homeless. Okay, so I heard from some rumblings and all that stuff that there's also addiction dealing with this too. Now, this is also that Pisces energy. Pisces does represent let me just be clear. Pisces represents homelessness. It represents lack, okay, insecurity, and it represents addiction and drugs, okay? But as we're getting this information, Venus is retrograding in Aries, right? And that is also representing a woman and who was a part of a group, and now she's an individual. And now something from the past is being brought up. So you have this group dynamic. You have relationships of In Vogue. Were they a group? Were they not a group? Why is she not involved in this group? And that is dealing with that Pisces energy for sure. Okay. But she's not connecting herself to In Vogue. She actually just went on live and said, I'm just going to say it. I've been living in my car. And you could just feel the release of the pressure she had that she's been living in her car. Very sad. Anyway, but that Venus in retrograde in Aries is also dealing with that isolation of a woman. Okay. And her feeling bold and saying it and being, having the courage to even say that she's homeless. I think, people need to realize that there is more homelessness than what we think, okay? And maybe you already know this. I don't know. But Neptune at 29 degrees is like, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. We need to close things out. And they want to hurry up, Neptune, when I say they. I'm speaking of Neptune itself. Neptune wants us to understand the lack that is happening around the world, okay? And the compassion that needs to happen. They also, too, Neptune and Pisces wants you to understand music and fame and the illusion of what the industry is about, because not only did she come out and say this, then her ex-husband came out, and they're no longer married, but I guess he felt like he needed to speak up because people probably think they're still married. The In Vogue singer's husband, but ex-husband, and he was basically saying how the music industry is an illusion, and he was saying all these things about the music industry. Pisces rules, you know, that creativity part, and it represents fame and glamour, and yeah, that is also what that Neptune is involved too, right? Because Neptune is the ruler of Pisces, and Neptune is about loss. Neptune is about the inability to be financially where you think you are, and homelessness and struggling and poverty and displacement and a blurred reality, all that behind the scenes, things that we cannot see. And also too, I think that they said that she dealt with addiction. Neptune also could represent not just addiction, but things that are dealing with your mental, like you're psychotic, or maybe because you're on a drug, things are making you kind of cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Okay. 29, very rush, very urgent. It wants the world to know. Okay. So you do have that. Yeah, but major music industry things are happening. Still look out for that, because that's going to happen. Okay. Just wanted you guys to see that. Last story we have here is leaked memo from Doge. Okay. So apparently somebody done wrote, you know, they doing their job, they wrote a memo, and they're basically saying, you know, we're going to have to change some things with Social Security, and you know, this is just me putting it in short words, and this internal memo that I'm sending to you is going to make some changes to its phone service that could derail the benefit application process for many Americans. Okay. That leaked. Why does that matter? That means that people are going to call in and say, oh, bling bling, hi, I need help with my Social Security. You're talking to a machine, you're talking to AI, and oh, you know what, AI doesn't understand English. How many people, you know, are, you know, a person from another country? But I think because we're dealing with Donald Trump, maybe it's not going to be an Indian from a different country, because how many times do you call and that happens? No insult to Indians, I'm just telling you, this is what I am. This is not a racist comment. This is what you get. You call your cable and you're talking to someone in India who is not in America, but you're talking about your Comcast and cable. Okay. So they're basically saying you're going to get the runaround on the phone. Okay. I'm not a Crip. I'm not a blood, meaning I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. Okay. I do not fall into the matrix. I don't take the red pill or the blue pill. I'm completely sober. Welcome to the world. Okay. What I'm saying, that all those disclaimers to say, is that I don't care about Trump. I don't care about Biden. I don't care about Kamala. I don't care about these things. I do care about justice and fairness, and the people and my tax dollars. Okay. If my parents are supposed to get Social Security, I want them to get Social Security. There is a strong awareness, though, that there is no money for Social Security. So they have to do all this for us not to get our Social Security. I say us, but I'm not old enough to get Social Security. Now, when this was written, what happened, there's two dates we're dealing with here. We're dealing with March 13th. This is when this memo was written, and the sun was sitting close to Saturn. The sun in Pisces was sitting close to Saturn in Pisces, and it's showing that the government has got their secrets. They're giving an illusion. This is an illusion. We're going to act like we're giving you your finances, but we are not. We're actually going to make you run around and go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs on the phone instead of giving you your Social Security. Now, Doge is supposed to. It's supposed to cut the funding from irrelevant places and give you the funding for places that matter. Okay. Doge is supposed to say, oh my gosh, we are wasting money over here, so let's take that money and give it back to America, the people. However, that's not happening. Okay. Hi, how are you, Dons? How are you, Don's Journey? Thank you for saying hello. How are you doing? I am doing fine. Now Doge is supposed to give you the money back to the people. It's not cutting the economy. It's keeping all that money, billions of dollars that it's saving. That's a great part about Doge. The bad part is, like, how is it helping the American people? He hasn't discussed that, I don't think. Anyway, but on the 13th, the sun was conjunct Saturn, and so we had the government. There's a highlight of this leaked message that happened on the 13th, and then we moved to the 20th, which is today. Now you have that it leaked, this message that they wrote on the 13th, it leaked. And now we're seeing like, wait a minute, they're saying they're not going to give us our Social Security. They're making Social Security cuts. Is this happening? Okay, let's see how this plays out. Neptune is at 29 degrees. It's going to get stronger. We're going to get more things. This is more happening to Saturn in Pisces. Saturn is still in Pisces. It'll be closing out. We'll continue to look and see what the shadiness of the government has to have. But be ready. Saturn rules authority, structure, and regulations. Pisces is about social programs, welfare, collective care, oneness, caring about others, caring about charity energy. But there might be more restrictions. There might be more delays. There may be blocked benefits, increased government control on our benefits and how they're distributing things. And there's illusions on what is the fraud. Who is the fraud, okay, in regards to the government. Now, the memo that was issued March 13th, the same day as that Sun conjunct Saturn, is showing the restriction and a bureaucracy and the damage that the government really is doing over there, okay? Get ready for confusion. Get ready for deception and secrecies of the government. More of it's going to come out, the illusions and the assistance of the illusions. And yeah, get ready for not trusting institutions. If you haven't already, get ready for more of that, okay? So yeah, that is what we have this week. This week's of astrology is proof that the past will come back and bite that ass, okay? Venus and Mercury retrograding in Aries are exposing secrets. They're putting everyone's on paper, on social media, all the lives, okay, that we're getting, reviving some old scandals, forcing us to confront the truth, whether we're ready for it or not, okay? And that Neptune and that conjunction in the Sun, Neptune at 29 degrees, Saturn still in the sign Pisces. You're going to get more hidden agendas, deceptions, and power struggles. And more of that is going to be revealed. But, you know, we got the big T with Neptune. And that energy only happens every 100 and something years. So we're not going to get that again. Sorry. But we'll see some more energy with the Saturn. But the patterns are clear. So we got the love, we got athletes, we got conflicts, we got aggression. How are you guys driving? Are you driving slow? Continue to drive slow. When Mercury retrogrades in Pisces, you may see more deaths in regards to driving. So drive even slower. There's unpredictable things, people changing their mind with that Mercury in Pisces, or maybe even driving and it is involving water. Be aware of that, maybe even boats or transportation. Anyway, but yes, Venus retrograding, we're dealing with justice. We're dealing with that Blake Lively energy still. We'll see how that goes. But stay tuned because the retrograde cycle isn't done yet. We have to discuss our Pisces energy. I'll be doing all the current events on that. And more truths will surface. More power moves will be made. And astrology will continue exposing what is hidden, okay? Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and join my community for more breakdowns. I am happy you guys are here, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.